experience. I'm going to start off with just saying I'm not a medical professional. This is not medical advice. I'm just showing what I do and what works for me. So let's get right into it. So the Cerebrolysin, I thought I had it out. No, I mean, I thought I wanted to show the whole bottle. Oh, here it is. All right, so the Cerebrolysin is usually going to come, with the Russian letters on it. That's all good. That's going to be the right stuff. And it should say Ever Pharma. And that's how you know that you have the brand name, which is what you want. You don't want any generic thing. So you just want to make sure you get the right product to start with. Now these, I believe, are called the Ampoules.
Yeah.
I only use 2 ml, but supposedly there's some bigger ones out there. These are little Ampoules. And I just kind of found this out, but there's a little dot there. So I like to hold on the dot and then break away from the dot. And one thing is that when I first started, I actually broke the ampule by just pressing on it a little bit too hard, and I probably had the wrong angle. So since then, I'll use a paper towel. And so when I do break it open, then if there is any glass shards or glass pieces, I'm not gonna cut my finger. And so I already have my needle kind of drawn up. Would you mind holding this for me? So normally if I'm doing this alone, that's just not near the camera, I would set this, so I would set this needle down, have it already drawn up with, not drawn up, but I would already have the blunt filter needle, and I'll show you which one that is.
Attached to the syringe.
Attached to the syringe. And then I would grab this in the right area and not squeeze too hard, and gently just, oh, I had it so easy last time. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So an ampule, it's just a glass vial. There's not like a plunger in it.
Can you hold it?
Yeah. So he's just drying it up with a filter needle, so if there's any glass particles in the jar, then it doesn't get in his body.
Go, and I'm going to safely put this little cap and this broken little ampule away. Okay, so I don't have the box that I originally got this in, but this is the only thing that you can't get on Amazon, and this is the blunt fill needle. So that's what it's called, blunt fill needle. I use the 18 gauge one. The size is not that important, but it's 1.5 inches. You just want to make sure it's big enough you can get to the bottom of that ampule. And these ones, just a simple Google search for blunt fill needle, 18 gauge, and you're gonna find one there. And there actually are studies that show with the ampules that you do get microparticles of glass in them. So you really want to make sure you use this to filter out any glass particles.
Not just blunt fill, it should say blunt filter needle, because there's a blunt needle that doesn't have a filter on it.
Okay, yeah, good catch there, yeah. But I mean, that's what it says on there too. So, and then these are gonna be, so I ordered these by accident, and then instead of returning them, I just started using them for the delt, because the Cerebrolysin is an intramuscular injection, and the smaller size works for the delt. So I get these, which are the, I believe these are the half-inch.
27 gauge half-inch needles.
There you go.
So if you're putting it in a small muscle, then that'll work. But if you're putting it in the glute or the thigh, you can get 22, 25, or 27 gauge needle, but you want to get 1.5 inch length. And then those numbers are actually, the higher the number, the smaller the needle.
Okay, yeah, and then so now I'm just gonna switch this out. Well, my wife will switch it out. I'm gonna get the alcohol because I think I left it on the porch.
So what you want to do is, you see there's air at the top of this. You're gonna leave the air in for now until you change the needle. So you're just gonna change to the injection needle. It's very important you don't use the blunt needle to inject someone with, because if you see the tip is not sharp and it will hurt a lot. So you just unscrew that and screw this on, and it's important that you don't touch the hub, which is the end of the needle, because you can contaminate it. And then you'll see a little bit of air there in the syringe, and you wait to put it out until you get the needle you're going to inject with, in case you get a little bit of the medicine in there, and then you'll still get it in your body. Then you just push it up a little bit to get the air out.
Yeah, so I got my alcohol spray, and then I just do the arm.
So this is 70% alcohol. You can use alcohol pads also. So you spray, and then you just want to let it dry for about, I think the rule is 20 seconds, which we don't always do.
And then, so what I'm starting to do at this point is make sure I don't talk, because anytime I tense up, my muscle will tense up. So I try to relax for the injection. And then I'm also having this mental thing where I'm telling myself this medicine is going to be good for me, this medicine is going to be healing, and I'm putting positive energy into my body through the injection. And sometimes she'll do like Reiki on her own. You know, sometimes a little bit busy, we got the kids around, it's not as like peaceful as I would like it, but I still always try to do the positive intention and the relaxation.
And if you want it as the injection person, or if you're injecting it yourself, you want just take 1 second to just think a good thought before you inject it. You don't want to inject anyone when you're angry.
And you inject it slow.
Yeah.
Squeeze it in.
So we're going to get closer so you can see, but you want to, first you'll take the cap off of your needle, and then you're going to pinch the muscle. You want to put it straight in, stand this way, at 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3. And then you want to draw back to make sure there's no blood in there, because if there were blood, that would mean you would be in some kind of blood vessel, which we don't want to be. We want to be in the muscle, and I'm injecting it nice and slow. And then you just pull it straight out and dispose of your needle into a...
And then you're always putting that cap back on right away, right?
If you have a needle disposal device, that's better, because really what they tell medical people is never recap a needle, especially a dirty needle, because you could poke yourself, technically. But it's better than walking around with a needle out.
Yeah, if you have a sharp spin, that's actually what you're supposed to do is to put those in there, and not just put them in the garbage, because the garbage man could poke with them too, so that's good. But you know, I usually put it right back on there, but I just carefully do it, so you know, probably breaking some rules there, but
well, if you're putting it back on your own needle, if you poke yourself with it, it's not that big of a deal.
And then you enjoy your Cerebrolysin treatment. So I hope that everyone found this video a little bit helpful and it helps to get you started. You know, if you do have someone that can help you to inject it, then that's going to be better. But if you have to do it yourself, you can also do it. So let me know how this goes. Look forward to hearing about it in the comments.
Babies